Good morning, grade 5 A and B. I missed you so much. Here is the questions for revision sheet on the chemical change. I'll put it on the LMS today, inshallah. The first question here is write the scientific term. Remember, we were talking about the physical and chemical changes. Number 1, a change that can be observed by measuring or sensing. When we have a piece of paper and we cut it into small pieces, fold it or tear it, it's still the same, it's still a paper. It does not change into another thing. Also, when we are measuring the mass, all of these are physical change. So number 1, a change that can be observed by measuring or sensing is physical change. Number 2, a change in which one or more substance is formed and are different from the original substance. Suppose that we have a paper and we burn it. It changes into ash, water vapor, and carbon dioxide. Can the ash return back to be a paper? No. Can we burn it again? No. So it is a chemical change. So number 2, a change in which one or more substance is formed and are different from original substance is a chemical change. Number 3, we have rusting. Number 3, rusting. Rusting is an example of what? Remember that rusting will give us another compound which is completely different from the original one. So number 3, rusting is an example of chemical change. Number 4, folding and tearing a paper is an example of. We know that when we fold and tear a paper, it's still a paper. So it's an example of physical change. Number 5, there are chemicals found on the left side of equation. Remember that when we have an equation, it has two sides. Suppose that we have H2 plus O. It will give us H2O. So H2 and O are on the left side of the equation. They are called reactants. So number 5, they are chemicals which are found on left side of equation are reactants. Number 6, they are chemicals found on the right side of equation. So here the H2O will be products. So number 6 is products. Number 7, the number of atoms in reactants and products are equal. When we have an equation, we said that the number of atoms has to be equal in reactants and products. We have H2 plus O. It gives us H2O. So in the reactants here we have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Also in the water we have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. So the number of atoms in reactants and products are equal. That is the law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. Section 2. It's so easy. Its answer is here. Section 2 states the law of conservation of mass by giving an example. We just said it now in number 7. The law of conservation of mass is the number of atoms in the reactants and the products are equal. But can you give me an example? I know if you are here, a lot of you are going to give me examples. We have here Na plus Cl, sodium plus chlorine, equal NaCl. So we have 1 atom of sodium and 1 atom of sodium in the products. 1 chlorine in the reactants and 1 in the products. So the number of atoms in the reactants and products are equal. We'll go to now to section 3. State the signs of chemical change. Who remember the signs of chemical change? Number 1, the bubbles. Do you remember when we put baking soda to vinegar in the class? It gives us bubbles. So we have to say bubbles and say that when we add baking soda to vinegar, it gives us bubbles. Number 2, change in the color. Remember when we add iodine to the flour and it gives us a blue color. Number 3, change in the odor and the taste. Remember guys, when we say that if we have a milk and we take the milk and put it out of the fridge, what will happen? It change its odor and it change its taste. Okay? So we have 3 signs now. The change in the color, the bubbles, and odor and taste. Also, if we have a candle and I light it, what will happen? It gives us heat and light. Heat and light. So now we have 5 signs of chemical change. Number 1, bubbles. Number 2, color, odor and taste, light and heat. We'll go now to number 4. It's a very nice question, and I know that you state how chemical change related to our biological process. Who remember how the chemical change related to our biological process? Remember number 1, photosynthesis. Who can tell me what is the equation of photosynthesis? Plants take what? Plants take carbon dioxide. Yes, carbon dioxide from the air, yes, water from the soil, and gives us what? Glucose and oxygen. So you write for me the equation. Write for me the equation for the photosynthesis. Number 2, what about respiration? Do you breathe oxygen or carbon dioxide? Yes, so we take glucose and oxygen and gives us, and gives what? Carbon dioxide and water vapor. We give out carbon dioxide and water vapor. I'll give you the sheet today on the LMS, and the equations are written in the sheet. I know section 5, you love it. State whether it's physical or chemical change, and we did it in the class a lot of times. Number 1, sharpening a pencil. Who remember when we sharpen a pencil? Is it still a pencil or it changed to another thing? Yes, so it is a physical change. Number 1, sharpening a pencil is a physical change. Number 2, hardness. When we have something rough or smooth, does it change the material? No, so it's a physical change. Number 3, milk becomes sour. When we put the milk out of the fridge, as we say before, and it changes its odor and taste. So it is a chemical change. So number 3 is a chemical change. Number 4, mold growing on the cheese. When we put also the cheese out of the refrigerator for a long time, we have to turn to green and it has a very bad smell. So the mold growing on the cheese is a chemical change. Number 5, some of you are confusing between number 5 and number 3. The sour taste or a bitter taste, it's a physical change. If we have the salt, it's salty, it does not change, it's a salt. But the milk, when we put it out of the refrigerator, it's change its taste, okay? So number 5, the sour taste or bitter taste or salty taste, it's a physical change. Number 6, what do we say about the boiling point? The boiling point, the freezing point, density, mass, weight, and volume, all of these are physical change. Super. Number 7, burning a candle. Do you remember when we burn a candle, what will happen? It gives us heat and light. So it is a chemical change. Burning a candle, change, chemical change. But can it be a physical change? Yes. If you said melting a candle, if you said melting a candle, it can return to a candle again. Okay? So it is a physical change. It is a physical change. Okay, and that's what we are going to take today until section 5. Tomorrow we'll start from section 6.